The drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has now escalated into a full-blown legal battle, with both stars suing each other over a tangled web of claims that revolve around their collaboration on the 2024 film It Ends With Us. Lively, known for her roles in Gossip Girl and A Simple Favor, claims that Baldoni, the film's director, tried to destroy her career through a smear campaign after she brought forth allegations of sexual harassment and a hostile work environment against him. On the flip side, Baldoni says Lively went too far by exerting control over the production, threatening to withhold promotion unless her demands were met. He also argues that she falsely portrayed their professional relationship to the public, tarnishing his reputation. And while Lively is suing Baldoni for sexual harassment, retaliation, and false light invasion of privacy, among other claims, Baldoni is countering with a defamation and civil extortion lawsuit, claiming that Lively not only made false allegations against him, but weaponized them to force him into complying with her demands.
Justin Baldoni has suffered a significant setback in his legal dispute with Blake Lively. A federal judge has sided with Lively, approving her request for a strict confidentiality order. This ruling ensures that certain sensitive information will remain shielded from the public and, importantly, from Baldoni himself. As a result, key evidence in the case will be accessible only to the attorneys involved, not to their clients.
Moments ago, the judge overseeing their federal case in New York, Judge Lyman, ruled on the former B-list actress's request an additional layer of protection. Unliftable Blake was not happy with the standard protective order in the case. She wanted an attorney's eyes only designation. And the judge has granted that. Congrats to Taylor Swift. Of the judge's ruling, spokesperson for Delulu says, quote, "Today, the court rejected the Wayfarer party's objections and entered the protections needed to ensure the free flow of discovery material without any risk of witness intimidation or harm to any individual's security. With this order in place, Ms. Lively will move forward in the discovery process to obtain even more of the evidence that will prove her claims in court."
Blake Lively is accusing Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment, followed by an attempted PR takedown of her to cover his own ass for people finding out what he did to her. In an article titled, "We Can Bury Anyone," Blake Lively heroically shared her story, and the world was on her side because it looked like she was just trying to take down a predator in Hollywood. So Justin Baldoni and his ace lawyer launched an all-cylinder fire attack to clear his name, and he started by suing the New York Times, saying that article was just published because it was paid for by Ryan Reynolds, and it was a multi-layered scheme planned out by Blake and Ryan to take down Justin. And I think it's pretty common knowledge that the mainstream media will lie on behalf of their powerful friends or anyone who pays them off to say friends. But this will be tough because the New York Times has never lost a lawsuit in their life. But Justin just released some very piping hot information that seemingly proves that Blake and Ryan Reynolds were colluding with the New York Times for months.
For Lively, this ruling marks a major victory. She had argued that without these protective measures, critical details could be leaked, misrepresented, or even exploited to intimidate witnesses. The court sided with her, acknowledging the high stakes at play, not only in terms of the business disputes, but also the potential reputational harm that could arise from unrestricted access to sensitive information.
Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively court case. A judge has ruled on the protective order. This is a big deal. I'm going to read the 9-page ruling right now. This was emailed out.
Just when people thought Justin Baldoni was finally the bad guy, Blake Lively proved she will always be the bad guy. Justin Baldoni just released a piece of the puzzle that will destroy Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Colleen Hoover, Taylor Swift, the New York Times. He's killing 5 birds with one stone, and they're all getting exposed as live. So grab your florals and buckle up for all this tea. Throughout this whole campaign, the public has been pretty sternly on Team Justin, but after Justin put out a voicemail that he sent to Blake Lively at 2 a.m. talking about a baby on her boob and he can't wait to spend more time with her, their chemistry is amazing, people thought maybe we should be on Team Blake.
Those goddamn wings. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. You probably have kids all over you. I can't wait to spend more time with you.
Blake and Ryan Reynolds were getting bothered by him releasing so much that they asked the judge to put a gag order on Justin to shut him up because they were gagged. Their lawyer said that Justin has further made it clear that his priority is completely torpedoing Blake Lively's career for the rest of her life. And this could actually all be over in 3 days because Blake and Ryan just asked a judge to dismiss this whole court case because they are trying anything to get this to stop because it's ruining their career.
Baldoni and his legal team strongly opposed these restrictions, arguing that they would severely hinder their ability to prepare his defense. They contended that withholding information from Baldoni himself would lead to constant disputes over what should be considered confidential. However, the judge remained unconvinced. Although Lively didn't secure every request, the court upheld the strictest protections for the most sensitive materials. The ruling represents a significant setback for Baldoni, and his reaction, let's just say he's far from pleased.
We have information and belief that the ex-CIA agent working for Blake Lively is using tactics to divide and conquer as new articles come out, sort of weaponizing the political ideologies that might be trying to dismantle beliefs involved in this case. What does that mean? They're trying to keep us fighting with each other, not with our eyes on the prize. We'll have all of that information coming to you right after this. But first, here it is, the court case. Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni. Last week, it's been about a week or so. Last Thursday, this hearing happened. And again, this is to find out if Blake Lively's discovery would be allowed, or if she'd be, her plan was to say, due to the PR nature and the salacious tendency of people to pick up on every part of a story, we don't think we should have to present some of our text messages in discovery with our high-profile clients, that being Taylor Swift and whoever else. Some people say Bradley Cooper and whatever other friends of Blake Lively might get sucked into this.
Baldoni's legal team immediately challenged the court's decision, calling the restrictions excessive and warning that they would complicate the litigation process unnecessarily. They argued that the confidentiality order would require them to repeatedly return to court to dispute what should or shouldn't be classified as confidential. According to them, this will not only delay the case, but also introduce additional bureaucratic hurdles that could have been avoided.
Justin Baldoni's side argued that they think that she shouldn't receive any preferential treatment because she's famous, and we need to see all this information. We'll redact it, we'll keep it from the public, and they say, no, you'll leak it. So here's what the judge has to say. Blake Lively versus plaintiff, which is Wayfair Studios, and then we have Wayfair Studios, plaintiff versus Blake Lively. So they're kind of both suing each other, so it's all in one. Judge Lehman, United States District Judge, whereas all of the, and by the way, he's going to be able to issue like a full protective order or partial, so we're going to have to just see what this is all about. Whereas all of the parties to this action, collectively the parties and individually a party, request that this court issue a protective order pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 26C to protect the confidentiality of certain non-public and confidential material that will be exchanged pursuant to and during the course of discovery in this case. Whereas the parties acknowledge that this protective order does not confer blanket protections on all disclosures or responses to discovery, and that the protection it affords only extends to the limited information or items that are entitled under the applicable legal principles to confidential treatment. Whereas the parties further acknowledge that this protective order does not create entitlement to file confidential information under seal, and whereas in light of these acknowledgments and based on the representations of the parties that discovery in this case will involve confidential documents or information the public disclosure of which will cause harm to the producing person.
However, Judge Louis Lyman viewed the situation differently. He emphasized that this case goes beyond mere legal disputes, involving serious allegations of misconduct, business competition, and potential reputational damage. Given the high stakes, he stressed that extra caution is essential. Limiting access to sensitive materials, he concluded, is the most effective way to prevent leaks, manipulation, or intimidation tactics.
Baldoni started editing the footage that had already been shot. But that's when Lively apparently expressed a strong interest in accessing the raw dailies. These usually aren't shared with the cast, according to Baldoni. Lively apparently also wanted to have a hand in the editing process. Text from her appears to read, "Hey, would you mind giving me access to the dailies? I appreciate you may be too slammed right now to make this happen. maybe someone else can facilitate? Just to put a point on this, dailies are a critical point of the filmmaking process, the editing process. The actors don't typically get access to them. If they do, it's usually rare, requires special permission. But here, Lively allegedly repeatedly pushed for access to this because it was evidenced by her follow-up text in July of 2023 that reads, "Please let me know who to reach out to get access to the full gallery of dailies. I'm so looking forward to seeing all that we have in the can." This request allegedly raised some concern among the film's crew. Producer and the CEO of Wayfarer Studios, Jamie Heath, are reportedly shown to be against granting Lively access to dailies. The messages from the lawsuit reveal their apparent resistance to the idea. There's one that says, "I'd say no, but check her contracts first." That's what one producer said. And then a response, supposedly from Heath, says, "It's an absolute no from me as well." This series of texts shows that while Lively seemed to be involved and invested in the production, she was also seen by some crew members as trying to maybe overstep professional boundaries, particularly when it comes to the editing process. Baldoni argues that Lively's attempts to control these aspects of the film, like the editing, wardrobe choices, were part of a broader strategy to manipulate him in a search for power and dominance over this project.
It's really destroying Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's image, bro.
What happened?
It all revolves around like fake allegations towards Justin Baldoni, right? So Blake Lively's claiming that there were sexual assault allegations towards Justin Baldoni, and Justin's like, "I have all the receipts, I have all the videos." So it's just a lot of drama.
Do you think this is fake beef like Drake and Kendrick?
No, because I think that for either one of them, this is
trying
like
to sell the movie.
detrimental to their career. You know what I mean?
But it ends with us. I want to make this very clear. Ryan Reynolds, if you get past this clip of us talking about your relationship, just know, I don't care. I still love you, man. I love your movies. I love everything you did.
I actually hope things get so complicated and terrible for you guys that you guys break up and then I slide into Blake Lively's life.
The most significant blow to Baldoni is that he won't have direct access to certain pieces of evidence. While his lawyers can review the materials, they are barred from sharing every detail with him. This leaves Baldoni potentially in the dark about crucial aspects of the case. His legal team vigorously opposed this restriction, arguing that it severely undermines his ability to mount a proper defense. They maintained that a fair trial demands full transparency between attorneys and their clients. However, the judge remained unpersuaded by their arguments.
Unaware of anybody, frankly, whose wife has been actually around and has made jokes about that type of situation.
Justin, if I'm not mistaken, is on vacation right now with his kids in Hawaii. Is he still there? Do you speak to him?
I do speak to him. I speak to him often. I wouldn't call it vacation. I don't think anybody who's been accused of heinous, arguably with crimes, is on vacation. I think that he is trying to gather with his family and get some semblance of peace.
The rationale behind this strict confidentiality order is evident. The court aims to prevent leaks, particularly in an industry where gossip spreads rapidly. In a case involving high-profile celebrities, the risk of sensitive information being disclosed is significant. Even if documents don't reach the press, they could still circulate within Hollywood's close-knit networks, potentially harming reputations long before the trial begins.
Reveal what really happened. A campaign to tarnish Lively after she alleged that Justin Baldoni, her co-star and director, and Jamie Heath, the producer, had engaged in misconduct while shooting the film.
Now, again, keyword there, the alleged smear campaign, but listen to what Megan herself, the author, says.
In a legal complaint Lively filed on Friday, private text messages and other documents that we've obtained reveal what really happened.
So right there, Chris, that's not an opinion. That's not a maybe. That's not a what. What really happened. Now, is that going to be problematic for them?
Oh my, Justin Baldoni's lawyers have now leaked the official footage of her alleged sexual harassment, and I now need this to go to trial. So the story goes, essentially, he says she didn't even read the book before signing on to the project. Then she read the book and kind of became consumed with it and wanted to basically introduce her own lines and wanted to become a part of the project and rework the script. So she submitted to him her ideas for how to rework the script, and apparently he gave her feedback, essentially saying, like, you know, I really love how passionate you are about this project. Maybe we'll take some of these ideas, but like, obviously we're not going to take all of these ideas because it's our project. And this was not good for Blake.
Balake.
She wrote this. This is her text message back to Justice Baldoni. She wrote, "If you ever get around to watching Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm Khaleesi. And like her, I happen to have a few dragons. For better or worse, but usually for better. Because my dragons also protect those that I fight for. So really, we all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. You will too, I can promise." Little smiley face. I'm so scared.
For Lively, this ruling marks a major step forward. Her legal team argued that without these protections, sensitive evidence could be exploited, either leaked to the media or used to intimidate witnesses. A spokesperson for Lively commended the judge's decision, stating that it guarantees a fair discovery process, free from external interference. With these safeguards in place, she can now focus on gathering evidence without the fear of it being misused or distorted against her.